Yo! It is October, and we all know I love horror movies. I love horror as a genre. I mean, seriously, I wrote a book, shameless plug for Into the Void Volume 1. It's on Amazon as a Kindle ebook and a paperback. Definitely go and check it out. It's by me, Rain Ragsdale. It's a pretty cool book, horror anthology. You should go and look at it. But also, horror. Great genre, but it's been defined like by a lot of things, like literature. I might do a whole video talking about literature, books, stuff like that, that redefined horror. But these are just movies. These are three movies that redefined horror in a certain era. So, yeah, let's just start with the first one, which I'm pretty sure if you saw the title of this video and you're a horror fan, or even if you're not, you probably guessed that this next movie was going to be in this list at least somewhere. And yeah, it's Halloween. This was not the first slasher movie, but it was definitely the one that set the groundwork for all of these slasher movies that would come after. This was a very popular movie whenever it first came out, did very well in the box office and everything. So, a lot of people took it and straight up just stole the idea. Friday the 13th, the first movie, is a straight up ripoff of Halloween. And yeah, it just keeps on going from there. Halloween set the groundwork for every single thing that we know of in a slasher movie, and later movies would actually start using different stereotypes from different movies. So yeah, it eventually grew into a stereotype of its original stereotype, like later in the franchise. So yeah, this was not the first slasher movie. I might make a whole video talking about what the very first slasher movie was. Um, there are a lot that might count as slasher movies like before this, but as far as slashers as we know them, this is the first one and definitely the most popular one whenever it came out. But between the 70s and the 90s, when Scream came out, slasher movies kind of fell off. They started being very schlocky, very not very well made, and everyone kind of just saw the horror genre as a joke. Unless you were a horror fan, you thought they were just schlocky B movies that weren't very good. And then Scream came back and redefined the genre, not by doing anything super new, but by pointing out the uh, tropes and different storylines that all slasher movies carry. Just like the scene where he's like, there are a certain amount of rules that you must follow. And one of the most famous ones from that is never say, I'll be right back, which I don't remember that ever being in a horror movie. So I think it started that. Like, I think Scream started that being a rule. There's a whole bunch of rules in that didn't really seem like they were actual rules until Scream did it. This redefined the slasher genre completely. This is genuinely an impressive movie. Wes Craven was a genius whenever it came to making actual like bangers. You had Scream, which redefined an entire genre, and then you had Nightmare on Elm Street before that. And both of these have absolutely iconic killers with the Freddy Krueger and Ghostface. You know what? I might make a whole video talking about Wes Craven and all of his movies and everything. But right now, oh my god! And then New Nightmare came out and redefined the horror genre again with its weird meta, like extra meta movies, like storyline and everything. It's so good. But yeah, Scream redefined the genre, gave it new life. Everyone loved this movie, and everyone started making slasher movies again. It was like a second wind. Now, in between Scream coming out in 96 and Hatchet coming out in 2006, there was a weird space where not a lot interesting happened in the horror genre. There were some actual hidden gems in there, but they were all mostly either monster movies like Jeepers Creepers, like random monster attacks people, or they were slasher movies, but they weren't regular slasher movies. Not like we know, like Friday the 13th, Halloween, that type of stuff. They were all Scream rip-offs mostly. They were a group of friends that now have a killer in their midst, and they have to figure out who the killer is, and it's probably someone in their group, their little friend group, their little clique and everything. And that is where Hatchet came in. In 2006, a little movie called Hatchet, something that I don't know if people outside of the horror fandom know about. Hatchet is very, very B movie, but it is exactly what we needed at the time. 2006, this thing walks out. Victor Crowley. It is basically Friday the 13th, but more brutal and more schlocky. That's how I would describe it. It is very good. Victor Crowley is one of my favorite horror villains of all time. I might actually put him above Jason, to be completely honest, because I just think he's amazing. If you want to know, actually, this is actually important. His backstory, unlike other slashers around this time, where it was basically like Ghostface, where they wanted revenge for something, or they just felt like killing or something like that. Victor Crowley went back to the Jason Voorhees stereotype, or the I guess Freddy would work too, where he died and then came back and everything. And then yeah, I guess Jason and Freddy would work for this. But yeah, Victor Crowley has this really sad backstory where he was bullied for his disfigurement, and then these kids came and accidentally burned down the house, and then his dad tried to bust down the door with an axe and accidentally hit him because he was trying to get out as he was trying to bust in, and then his dad ended up killing himself. So he every night he returns as a ghost and goes, "Daddy." It's really good. I like the story. Very simple, very to the point, and very beautiful. Yeah, Victor Crowley is a ghost, and I think that's a very good point of why this made the slasher genre come back, because we didn't really get any oh, it's a ghost, or oh, it's an undead person. We got like full on monsters and stuff, which I don't know. This is literally just a rip off of Friday the 13th, though. I think that's why it ended up bringing the slasher genre back so hard. But yeah, after this, the slasher genre came back like a boom, a big old boom of slasher movies, like actual slasher movies, like Friday 13th, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, those type of slasher movies. I almost said Nightmare on Elm Street, but I wouldn't really count the first one as a slasher. The second one is definitely he came into the real world and everything. I would count the third one because I guess the first one counts too, but I don't know. I feel like it's in a different genre just because of how he kills people and everything. But yeah, this movie brought the slasher genre as we know it back with a vengeance. And I love this movie. This entire franchise is peak. You should definitely go and watch it. Yeah, this is the last movie I want to talk about, because this is the last one I can think of that actually revolutionized the genre. I can't really think of any newer movies that did this, but I mean, Scream made horror come back as a whole, and then Halloween started the slasher genre as a whole, and then this brought slashers back, like actual slashers, not like the snarky, like meta type of Scream movies, or like the ones where it's just, oh, someone in our friend group must be the killer, like that type of stuff. This brought back like actual, just straight up camp slashers, like that type of stuff. I love Hatchet so much. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about the horror genre and three movies that revolutionized it, or at least brought it back from the brink of death at some point. Like I said while I was talking about Hatchet, I cannot think of any from like nowadays that have changed or revolutionized the horror genre. So if you can, please comment it. I might make a whole nother video like this if I get enough comments or I think of any more. But yeah, I need to know some more that revolutionized it, because I know for a fact there have to be, because the horror genre has changed so much. There had to have been a starting point for this new, like, I don't even know what to call it, like the classier type of horror, where it's like, I don't know. There's just something different about a lot of the horror movies that come out nowadays. But yeah, um, like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. Go check out my book, like I said. Yeah, as always, see ya.